What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Crunch Time. It's Jeff Iafrate, and today I'm going to go through me and Adham Beydoun's full first-round NFL mock draft. We collabed for his website, which you can check out. He's crushing it, www.adhambeydoun.com. He's posting all types of articles up there, sharing his opinions, because obviously he can't do it himself on video. But today, I'm going to show off what we did and what we collabed on and kind of review it, and we'll get to the Lions selection, which I had, and we had the Lions trading up. And you're going to find out where the Lions traded up to. But before we get to that, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to reach 6,000 subscribers, and you guys have been absolutely crushing it and showing us love, and I thank you for that. Also, like the video. It helps push out the videos in all our content to new people, which is always a good thing. But let's begin. Let's get to our full first-round NFL mock. Me and Adham Beydoun collabing like old times. And to me, I had the number one pick. I had evens. And I just kind of gave away the second pick, but it's not a surprise there. Number one is consensus. This is easy, right? Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams, the number one consensus prospect. And there you have it. Adam wrote what I had to say for my picks, and he also wrote what he said for his picks. So I'll read that description as well. But it says here, easy decision here. Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams. Williams is the consensus number one prospect, has a franchise-altering aura surrounding him. Chicago has never had a 4,000-yard passer in team history. Time to change that. There you go. The Chicago Bears take Caleb Williams. And that put Adam in such a tough position. Just kidding. He just took Jaden Daniels, which, you know what? That's an obvious pick. And this one doesn't really need much explanation either. But Adam writes, recent reports of an outspoken, unhappy Jaden Daniels in relation to the Washington Commanders puts that pick into question. Still, the pick is Daniels. Personally, I love quarterbacks that overcome adversity, and Daniels fits the billing with 3 OCs and 3 seasons at ASU. And I agree with this selection. I saw the reports that Jaden Daniels would prefer a situation like Las Vegas, but too bad, my man. You get drafted. And the Commanders, I think, will end up taking Jaden Daniels, but we shall see. That left me at pick 3, and I thought this was pretty easy. Well, I shouldn't say easy at all, actually. It was a tough position. It was a tough position to be in. It was. I mean, you're the Patriots, and you need a quarterback, but you also don't have a great roster. So I had to weigh that out. Again, I'm the GM of the Patriots in this scenario. I thought, you know what? Even though Marvin Harrison Jr. is an easy selection in terms of projecting what he'll be, you know he's going to be an all-pro caliber player. They need a quarterback, and what better than to get Drake May, who I think will end up being one of the better quarterbacks in this class, even though it is high risk, high reward. I have confidence in what Drake May can be. And I write here, Jeff, Patriots are in a tough spot. Our quarterbacks going 1 and 2, trading up to number 3 overall might be too steep of a price for most teams. New England are stuck here. My gut tells me they should take Marv, but we'll go high risk, high reward with Drake May. And that's what I believe. There's even been reports that they're potentially shopping the pick. I think they should stay put and take either Drake May when he's available, assuming that Jaden Daniels goes before him, or Marvin Harrison Jr., which didn't take long for him to come off the board because at pick 4, Adam had the Cardinals taking Marvin Harrison Jr. And he writes here, the second easiest decision of the draft would be Marvin Harrison Jr. falling to the Arizona Cardinals. Although GM Monty Ozenfort loves to be active, staying put and taking a franchise wide receiver is the right move here. Enjoy, Kyler, which I no disagreements there. Now it gets a little interesting. We have a trade, and the Minnesota Vikings trade with the Chargers in select J.J. McCarthy, which me and Adam both agree is going to happen, despite what we might think about J.J.'s projection. In the right situation, it benefits any quarterback. And what a better situation than Minnesota. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, offensive-minded coach. It makes so much sense. And this is why we did this and why I do believe it will happen. It writes, Adam put here, Minnesota have to leapfrog New York to avoid any possible threat of their quarterback being taken. Minnesota sent their 2 first-round picks to Los Angeles to select J.J. McCarthy. So, again, they traded for that extra first-round pick from the Texans. I think that there's a reason behind that. They want to trade up. They want to get their franchise QB. And to me, it's J.J. McCarthy. Now let's go to 6, where Adam had the Giants selecting Malik Neighbors. And his reasoning was Minnesota left New York with a no-brainer, either Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze. The pick is in. Giants select Malik Neighbors, wide receiver out of LSU. Now, Adam traded up with me. I had the Titans. He was the Jets. He traded up and took Rome Odunze. Got Aaron Rodgers a weapon. It says here, a win-win for both the Jets and the Titans. New York moves in and grabs the last remaining big-time wide receiver on the board in Rome Odunze. Meanwhile, the Tennessee Titans gain some draft capital and only fall to pick 10, which for my end, I'm like, yeah, I want Joe Alt. I'm trading back, and I could still land him. But here's Rome Odunze to the Jets. I thought this was interesting. Our second trade so far through the top 10. We'll go to 8. And Adam had this pick as well, because when you trade up, he gets to select that player. That's how this works, for those who are a little confused. So I keep the team when I trade back. But here's Adam's reasoning for taking Byron Murphy the second to the Falcons, which I didn't hate, but I definitely didn't love. To me, this is Dallas Turner. Has Dallas Turner written all over it. But Adam went defensive lineman, but not defensive end, defensive tackle. Adam writes, Byron Murphy to me has everything it takes to be the best defensive player in this draft. Explosive and garners a ton of attention at the line of scrimmage. Raheem Morris and co. bolster the interior of their defensive line. There's his reasoning, which I'm Chicago. Ryan Poles is jumping up and down right now, celebrating Brad Holmes style. Not quite the same GM, but you get what I'm saying. He's celebrating because you get to take Dallas Turner. And I put simply, thanks, Adam. The Chicago Bears have officially won the 2024 NFL Draft. Caleb Williams and now Dallas Turner, easy choice here. And I believe that. Bears fans are happy with that selection. Now, if I was a Lions fan, I would not be. Tennessee Titans, I get to select for him. I took Joe Alt. So I got draft capital and still landed Joe Alt at 10. Jets, it's interesting because you're trading with the Jets. They could go offensive line. It's a little different in this scenario when I kind of know Adam and I know where he's going. But if you're making this trade in real life, Jets could be trading up for Joe Alt. You don't really know at this point. So I'm curious. If I'm the Titans, it's a great situation. I mean, trading back to 10 leaves me with who I wanted to take at 7 anyways. Tennessee have to protect Will Levis to get him a fair shot. Joe Alt goes 10th overall to the Titans. Now, at 11, I'm selecting again, and I take Brock Bowers for Jim Harbaugh. And I still believe Jim Harbaugh loves nothing more than offensive linemen and tight ends. Trading back in acquiring 2 first-rounders put Los Angeles in a position to take the best tight end in the class, Brock Bowers. And this, to me, you get Justin Herbert, a weapon like Brock Bowers, and you still have a pick in the 20s to grab a tackle. It's a great situation for the Chargers. It's a great situation. Now we go to pick 12, where I picked for the Detroit Lions. I accepted a trade with Adam, with the Broncos, to trade up, and I went with a different player. Not a player I don't believe in. I love Quinyon Mitchell. I think he's the best corner in this class. Typically, I say you're trading up for an edge or a corner. I had Latu in my last video, Mock Draft 3.0, where I traded up. This time, I decided to go with who I think is the best corner, Quinyon Mitchell. And it writes here, Jeff, theme of the Detroit Lions should be quality over quantity. Quinyon Mitchell, who I believe is the best corner of the bunch, was worth trading up for. Yes, a little pricey with a future second and third involved, but it addresses a position of need. Detroit get their cornerback one for the future and are equipped to make their Super Bowl run. Yes. I would be happy. And I know the media argument was, well, Brad Holmes wouldn't give up draft capital. I mean, that's fair. I disagree. I think if you're getting a certain level of player, I don't think you should be upset with giving up draft capital. If Brad has faith, as much as I do in Quinyon Mitchell, you shouldn't care about the draft capital because you get a premier corner. If you could trade assets or draft capital for the level of player I believe Quinyon Mitchell is, I think it'll all be worth it, considering how much of an impact he'll make through the rest of his rookie contract and then some when you extend him. So I'm cool with this trade. You get the best corner, in my opinion, in the draft. Yes, I think he's better than Terrion Arnold. So I'm happy with this. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. I know that one could be a little triggering depending on who you ask. We'll go to pick 13. Hey, thanks, Adam, for the plug. Go to pick 13. Las Vegas, not Los Angeles, Las Vegas Raiders select Terrion Arnold. I have him going a pick right after Quinyon Mitchell. I wrote here, Vegas are in a position where they'd like to trade back, but there won't be many suitors. Vegas stays put and selects Terrion Arnold out of Alabama to help improve a secondary that struggled last season. Arnold will serve as a chess piece for Antonio Pierce. They need secondary help, man. They signed Christian Wilkins. They got Max Crosby. They need some corners. They lost to Meek Robertson, and you get a rookie in Terrion Arnold, who I still think will be really good. I think Quinyon's my top corner, but number 2, I'd put Terrion Arnold. So they're happy walking out with CB2 in the draft, in my opinion. That puts Adam up at 14, and he goes with Fashanu, tackle out of Penn State for the New Orleans Saints. His explanation, tough to see teams moving back here in the mid-teens. Now, or New Orleans, need to protect Derek Carr, and Fashanu may be the best pass-protecting tackle in this class. Huge upside here and a pick that addresses protection concerns. Let's go to pick 15, where I had the Colts taking Cooper DeJean. My explanation was keep the Iowa cornerback in the Midwest. The Indianapolis Colts improved their secondary and take one of the 3 best corners in this draft class with a 15th overall pick. To be fair, it'll probably be a safety, a pick that I think the Colts are going to absolutely love. They play a lot of zone coverage, and Cooper DeJean, very good in zone coverage. So it's a match made in heaven, in my opinion. We'll go to pick 16, where Adam took Jared Verse. Yes, Salatu is still on the board, by the way. His explanation, Mike McDonald and company couldn't be happier with how the draft board has played out. Seattle select Jared Verse to improve their pass rush that already features Leonard Williams and Boye Mafe. And he'd be a happy man if he got Jared Verse. And I was on the board at pick 17 with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I took Nate Wiggins, cornerback out of Clemson. My explanation, Jacksonville's secondary was pathetic last season. No need to think too much here. Nate Wiggins is brought in to help improve a below-average secondary and hopefully a defense that can give Trevor Lawrence the support needed to take back the division. We'll go to pick 18, where Adam took Jerzon Newton, defensive tackle out of Illinois. His explanation, I really thought Brock Bowers would fall to me here at 18. Thanks, Jeff. You're welcome. No worries. Cincinnati addresses the interior of the defense after losing DJ Reader in free agency to the Detroit Lions. Bengals select Jerzon Newton out of Illinois. And at 19, the Los Angeles Rams, in my opinion, take Talise Fuaga. And my explanation was Sean McVay and Les Snead will be running this name to the podium. Improved the offensive line by selecting easily the best run blocking tackle in the class. Fuaga, Matthew Stafford, and Kywin Williams are happy men. And to be fair here, I meant to send Adam best pass blocking tackle, which is true. Run blocking, he's not bad, but he's definitely the best pass blocking tackle, which you're protecting Matthew Stafford, and that's what's important. So there's my reasoning for that. At pick 20, the Steelers select Amarius Mims. This is Adam's selection. His explanation was, if Pittsburgh have any hope of getting the best play out of Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, protecting him is a must. Mike Tomlin loves players that aren't polished with high upside. His coaching should do the trick. Pittsburgh select Amarius Mims. And right after him, another offensive lineman, I select Jackson Powers-Johnson for the Miami Dolphins. My explanation was main focus should be keeping Tua Tagovailoa upright and drafting the best center available. Jackson Powers-Johnson is an athletic freak that plays with a great amount of intensity and physicality. I think Miami would love this selection. That puts Adam up at 22. And he had the Eagles taking my guy Kool-Aid McKinstry. He said, I'm not in love with what the Philadelphia Eagles are at the moment. Secondary is an issue. Kool-Aid McKinstry is a solid pick here for them. You'll be able to move on from Slay eventually. And with the Chargers' 23rd pick, I had them taking Troy Fautanu. That's a great draft, in my opinion. Brock Bowers and Troy Fautanu in the first round. I write here, what does Jim Harbaugh love more than tight ends? Offensive lineman. Troy Fautanu is an absolute steal at 23. Chargers have easily had a top 3 first round so far. Adam had the Cowboys taking J.C. Latham. His explanation, I love Jeff's enthusiasm here. Fautanu was the pick for Dallas. If he didn't take him, I'll gladly settle for J.C. Latham. Dallas are screwed with the Dak Prescott situation. Might as well take the most of it. Well, that's fair. To be completely fair, that is fair. Baltimore Ravens Adam traded up with the Green Bay Packers. I'm the Packers. I'm going to be honest, I wanted Mikey Sanders still. But I thought, you know what? I can get him at 30. So I trade back. Ravens trade up. They get Latu, which is such a Ravens move. And they land him. And his explanation, in typical Baltimore fashion, they make a move no one expected. Baltimore trades up 5 spots for Green Bay and select what most consider a top 10 prospect in Latu. Pleasure doing business with your Green Bay. At 26, Adam was on the board because he traded up. Graham Barton, don't overthink it, Tampa Bay. So there's his explanation. At 27, I had the Cardinals selecting Zach Frazier. I write second best center available in the draft here for Arizona to take. Give me Zach Frazier to work with Kyler Murray for the foreseeable future, which I think that's, you're the Cardinals, you get Marvin Harrison Jr. and Zach Frazier. It's a pretty good first round too. Buffalo Bills, Adam has them taking Adonai Mitchell. Now, mind you, Brian Thomas Jr. is still on the board. I didn't agree with it, but I get why. This is Adam's preference. He likes Adonai Mitchell more. I like Brian Thomas more than Adonai Mitchell. It's not a big drop-off, but it's all preference, and he thinks the Bills would prefer Adonai Mitchell, or he would if he were the Bills GM. He writes, great. We traded Stephon Diggs and haven't fired our head coach. I can't fix this situation, but I make it slightly better. Buffalo select Adonai Mitchell. That puts Adam back on the board with the Denver Broncos. And he writes here, because it was his pick that I traded up with. He writes, trading back with Detroit was the right play. Denver needs the draft capital and are very aware they can likely get the quarterback that fits best with what Sean Payton likes to do. Denver select Bo Nix at 29. And I get my guy because I traded back. I was Green Bay and I land Mike Sanders still, which I think is a home run. You trade back, get capital, and get Mikey Sanders still. Whew. I write here, trading back and still getting a guy I wanted at 25 is good business. Green Bay select Mike Sanders still at 30. And at 31, I had the 49ers selecting Tyler Guyton. And my explanation, the offensive line needs help. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, don't overthink this. Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma is the best of the bunch available. If anything were to develop with Brandon Ayuk, then I would consider a wide receiver, which is true. But at this point, you're taking a tackle. And I took Tyler Guyton, best available in my opinion. This pick, I'm sorry, I absolutely hate. I'll just be honest with you, Adam. Absolutely hate it. Kansas City Chiefs with Brian Thomas Jr. on the board. Ladd McConkey, I don't care who it is. Troy Franklin. His explanation, how do we make up for the Sky Moore draft pick and Rashee Rice likely being suspended? Draft Troy Franklin. Which, okay, reasoning makes sense. Troy Franklin, to me, it's back to that preference thing. I would rather have Brian Thomas Jr. over Troy Franklin because that's what I believe. But Troy Franklin, to me, similar in terms of track star, needs some development. Obviously, we'll see. Andy Reid can definitely develop any of these wide receivers, and Adam feels more confident in Troy Franklin's ceiling, which is fair. Disagree with it. But here's our first round. It's the entire first round. Give me your thoughts on how you think we did, and also give me your thoughts on Quinyon Mitchell being the pick. Because if you say, Jeff, I want an edge over Quinyon Mitchell, I wouldn't hate it. That's what I struggled with. But I thought, you know what? Let's take Quinyon. Let's do something different. And I'm still happy with the selection. The thing you really have to ask yourself, and this is what Brad's going to have to ask himself, is if you trade up and you give up a lot of draft capital, are you comfortable with selecting a player with a neck injury that he had to medically retire from? I would, if it was me, I believe that much in Latu and his potential. I would say yes, it's worth it. But you could also make that argument, man, your mortgage in the future, you better get a home run. So I also understand that point. I would be comfortable with both. That's just how I am. That's how much faith I have in Latu. I would prefer Latu over Verse. I will say that. But Quinyon Mitchell, that's the pick. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, whether you hate it, you love it. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk it out. But that'll do it for me, guys. I maintained my philosophy here with corner or edge in the first round. That's what I believe. And we'll see what happens this Thursday. But until then, like I said earlier in the video, comment down below, subscribe, like the video as well. Help us in the algorithm. And until next time, I'll catch you guys.